Wow, look at this. Suzuki V-Strom 800 DE from Bridge Motorcycles. These guys are fantastic and they've been kind enough to let me take this one out. Welcome back to the channel. Okay then, so jumping on to the V-Strom 800 DE. This is the 2023, it's an all new bike, and boy does it feel it. This feels like a quality machine the second you get on it. But look at that TFT display. That is so clear, absolutely stunning. So first thing I noticed jumping on this bike is that it is a fairly tall bike, this one. I'm about 5'7", but the seat is very thin at the front. It's designed for standing up, but that does mean that you're able to easily touch down. So that really does help with a shorter rider. You feel fairly tall on this bike perched up, mainly because the screen is quite low down, again designed for off-road riding so that you don't go bashing yourself into it. So the 800 DE is the new off-road variant of the V-Strom, although it does come with more road-focused tyres. So there is no lack of power on this 800. Right away I feel like I have plenty of oomph with the bike. Beautifully smooth, as is the 1050 version that I rode recently. So many of you guys asked me when I did the review on the 1050 if I could review the 800 DE. So here I am, and I got to thank Bridge Motorcycles for being kind enough to let me take this one out as well. So looking at the controls then, we have on the left we have our mode button, which moves around on the lovely TFT that we have there between traction control, rider modes and ABS. We do have switchable ABS controlling the rear. But we have, I believe, 3 modes of traction control and a gravel mode on this bike. We have 3 riding modes on this bike, your standard A, B and C. These are changeable on the fly. Traction control is also flickable. Off, gravel, and then 1, 2 and 3. So this is the all new 2023 V-Strom 800 DE. Has the now 21-inch front wheel spokes. We have I believe 220mm upside down shower suspension, all adjustable, all very impressive. We have the new just short of 800cc motor in this one. We do have the quick shifter on this bike as standard. We have knuckle guards on this bike as standard. This bike, believe it or not, is only £10,500 kitted out as it is. And news hot off the press, Suzuki are also going to be doing a tour variant of this bike. So you're going to get the metal panniers and stuff with it as well. So you'll be seeing those in the showrooms fairly shortly. I have to say, coming through the faster twisties there, this bike handles superbly. It does not feel like it weighs 230 kilograms, not at all. I'll be interested to see how that screen behaves when we get on the faster roads and see how the wind deflection is. Like I say, Suzuki have launched a tour package, so I don't know if that will come with a bigger screen. We haven't got the full details on that yet. Okay then, so let's have a quick look at her. So obviously this is the black and blue. They come in 3 different designs. There is a yellow one, and there's a greyish colour as well. Me personally, my favourite is this black and blue one. And those gold rims, they look fantastic. So let's have a closer look at this bike. So obviously we have the nice new suspension upside down forks. twin disc brakes on the front. They are Nissan 2-pots. We have that lovely parallel twin motor, and I have to say it does feel like it's a V-twin. I think they've done some clever stuff inside the engine there, and I imagine if you put a nice exhaust on that, you're going to get a really nice exhaust note. Speaking of exhaust, as it goes now with these Euro 5 ones, you know, very often they're huge metal ugly things, and this one isn't too bad for what it is. I wouldn't hate on that if I had that one. Nice looking LED lights there on the rear, modern indicators, that's all looking great. There is a nice comfy place for the pillion if you're going to carry one. The seat is nice and comfortable. Do you see what I mean about it being very thin here at the front and nice and comfortable at the back? So it is a nice place to be, but you can get your feet on the floor very easily with this bike. So of course it is a chain drive, and there we have the quick shifter that comes from the factory as well. We do have these knuckle guards, we'll call them, but they are just flimsy plastic, to be honest with you. And if I had something like this, especially if I was going to be using it for any off-road, I would definitely be fitting some bark fusters or something similar. But overall, a great looking bike. Obviously you have the beak on this one, different headlight on this one, and the shorter screen. Well, I'll be interested to see how that shorter screen works when we get on the faster road. So I'll try a bit of dual carriageway in a minute, and we'll see how we think this might do for touring. Right, it's just starting to rain, so I'm going to jump back on the bike, and we'll see how that screen works on the faster road. So me personally, something I noticed about this bike is these silver bars here with all the black. I think it's a shame that they didn't put black handlebars on there myself, but that's a personal preference, definitely not the end of the world. So the startup's quite nice on this bike. It's a one touch on the electric. We don't need to worry about the clutch. Very nice too. Okay, so back on the V-Strom 800DE. Let's see how she does on the faster roads. So definitely that screen is not designed for touring, and well, as you would imagine, I'm taking the wind straight to the face on this one. If I owned this bike, I'd definitely be looking for a bigger screen. Okay, so something that I did notice there coming down the faster bit of road is that at about 5,500 revs, the bike does develop a bit of a vibration, but it is only between 5,500 and 6,000 revs, say, which is really interesting. The rest of the time it's butter smooth, but in that small area that you can feel some vibration. No bike is perfect. This one's fairly close though, to be fair. So my opinion is that this bike is going to be direct competition for the Tenere 700. So this bike may be slightly more road biased than the Tenere 700, but the reality is most of us, certainly in the UK and where I ride, you know, you don't get the opportunity to ride it off-road very much. And so the reality is that, you know, even if you own a Tenere 700, a lot of the time you are on the road. So this bike off-road is certainly going to be more capable than I am, so it's as off-road as I need. But what I do need for the rest of the time when riding a bike is all the electronics. You know, I do want the different rider modes, and I do want the quick shifter and stuff. And those are all things that the Tenere 700 is lacking, even the new World Raid, which I reviewed not long ago. If you want to see that one, by the way, I'll pop a link above the screen now. At 10.5 grand, this bike is considerably cheaper than the Tenere 700 as well. Well, I have to say, once again, taking the Suzuki for a ride, you know, they really have upped their game this year with their new variants of these V-Stroms. You know, before you always thought of these bikes as fairly basic, you know. They've come along a massive way, I think. This new TFT and adding on all this new technology and the quick shifter and, you know, the new suspension and the new motor, they've definitely put themselves right back where they need to be at the top of the market. And the way that they're pricing their bikes now, and, you know, with the Suzuki reliability and fit and finish, these are going to sell very well. So I'm just going to take the V-Strom into Sainsbury's car park here. Hopefully I can find a bit of a quiet space, and I'm going to try to push the bike around, and also I'm going to see what it's like doing slow speed maneuvers. Okay, side stand, nice and simple to find, brilliant. Nothing worse than you're trying to get, especially when you get on a new bike and you're kicking your feet around trying to find that side stand. Nothing more annoying. So 230 kilograms, this bike. It certainly doesn't feel it when you're riding it. Let's give it a push about. Okay, well, for me, that is no issue at all. Okay, it takes a little bit of effort to move the bike, but nothing that is particularly problematic at all, and no more than any other middleweight adventure bike for sure. So what about slow speed maneuvers? Let's get on and we'll try a few U-turns, see how that works out. We're having no issues turning this bike in circles within about, say, 6 car parking spaces worth, something like that. No problem at all. So I have full control of this bike, moving along at 2 miles an hour. The bike feels so well balanced, really, really nice. That torquey engine chugging along, not a bother to the bike at all. Really impressive. Okay, so as I return now back to Bridge Motorcycles on the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE, I have to say, once again, I've been very impressed by my experience on the Suzuki. They've massively upped their game. 10.5 grand, brand new. What more can you ask for? Excellent bike. If you're considering one, I don't think you'll go far wrong. I think you'll be very happy with this bike. So thanks again to Bridge Motorcycles for letting me take it out. Thanks to you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think of the bike, and if you haven't subscribed already, you know what to do. Until next time, ride safe. We'll see you on the road.